All right, everybody, welcome back to Success on the Spectrum, the podcast, episode 11. You've got Brittany, Shay, Morgan, and Lindsay. We are going to do things a little differently this week. We're going to do two segments because we've got a lot to say about these two things. And so we're going to start off with our support systems. And what we're going to talk about is actually nutrition today and inflammation and the things that we are and are not doing at the moment to support said things. So, that being said, I'm going to kick mine off. Mine is pretty simple. Most anybody that knows me, follows me, has listened to any one of these podcasts knows that I grow vegetables in my backyard. I have got a cancer kid. I've had my own struggles. I'm very clear on what inflammation does to the body, and the way that our food is processed in the United States is added so many dyes and sugars and shit that it's hard to navigate what is or is not healthy if it's on a shelf, organic labeled or not, because sometimes that's just a sticker you pay for. So, biggest thing that I do is I grow as much, or I locally source as much as I possibly can. It's a big thing, from meat to vegetables. We also don't eat a whole lot of processed foods. So I am what most people would call an ingredient mom.
A crunchy
My
mom.
kids don't, a little bit, yeah, a little bit of granola in there for sure. My kids don't do McDonald's or Lunchables or things of that nature. Every now and then I'll fill up like a community snack tower, but that's few and far between. As far as supplements and everything, I take a lot of stuff for anti-inflammatories. But I think the biggest things that I'm doing is or the newest one actually that I want to share with everybody that I'm seeing a lot of changes in, it's an antioxidant, and I've honestly seen a lot of like deflammation, if I can even call it that, but it's
I think you can.
astaxanthin. I don't know if you guys have.
Oh, tell me about this. Why is this so familiar to me?
Yeah, so this is it's a big time antioxidant. It's a tiny little pill. It's a tiny little black pill. I'll take it once a day. But it is really good for cellular regeneration also. So it helps with like fine lines, wrinkles, cellular regeneration in the gut itself. And reduces all different kinds of inflammation. It's great for the heart, skin, eyes. There's like a whole list of stuff. I actually, interestingly enough, I randomly came across this on TikTok when I was posting one of our clips for these episodes. I'll go through and interact, as you do with social media platforms. And there's this really well-known, like a holistic beauty doctor, not a plastic surgeon, but like in the holistic side of beauty, so big on like red light therapy and all of these things. And
Okay, yeah.
he was doing a rate this 1 to 10, and he rated this like 12,000 out of 10. So I was like, I want to do some
Wow.
research on that. And sure enough, I'm taking it, and it's fantastic. The other one I'm doing right now is the NAD plus.
I was
which
just about to bring that up. Yeah.
I also found from his feed. So I'll have to find him and tag him
And
when I
it's
post
funny
a clip
because I
of this.
also sourced my NAD the same way, where I was like, okay, I need to know more about this. And
It is
y'all.
How long when did you start both of those things, and did you start them together?
Astaxanthin I started a month ago because I've got 2 left in here. I just reordered. And the NAD plus, I've been on it for 4 days now. I'm seeing a drastic improvement in this already. Just like literally just looking at myself. I don't have any skin makeup on or anything right now.
Well,
Like, this is
Lindsay
the
also
face I
doesn't
woke
get,
up with this morning.
you don't
Huh?
get Botox or anything.
No, I don't do any of that. I have a red light right here on my desk that I sit under, like a big one. Every day I sit under it, but that's it.
Yeah.
have
I
you
am
noticed like a
really
lot of
into,
energy? Oh, sorry, Shay.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna order the NAD plus this week because I'm like, okay, everyone is on this shit right now, and it's like amazing.
I was telling Lindsay actually right before our call that I've been taking the pill for almost probably close to 6 months, but I'm gonna switch to the shot just because
I was gonna do the injections.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not good at taking supplements every single day. So if I can minimize the amount of process I have, I think it would be really helpful.
Can you just get the injectable? Like, is it like regulated at all?
I don't know.
I can't get it for myself because I have psoriasis. So anytime I injure my skin, I break out. So the supplement is better for me. I will say since I started taking it though, my psoriasis has cleared up drastically. So maybe it's a
Yeah.
anyhow.
Everyone say hi.
I have a connection, Brittany, for the NAD plus injections. I have a doctor.
Okay, cool.
And you can just buy it online and they ship it to you.
Excellent. I met my sisters in Vegas right now. That's their dog Oki.
Oh,
Everyone say hi to Okie Dokie
Hi, Cute.
I'm on
Adorable.
I'm fair game. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. No, you're good. But
Have you noticed
that's my
energy
main thing.
benefits from that, Lindsay? That's what I was going to ask you. Because I've heard a lot of like NAD stuff, and I actually think I heard Dr. Rhonda Patrick talk about this on a podcast years ago when I was like way more into all this stuff. But I'm almost positive that she was talking about it from like a cellular energy perspective.
which
Oh, sorry, Morgan. I'm sorry. I do feel a lot more energy, but I also started taking this.
Oh, black seed oil.
Yep.
Oh,
So
good combo.
I'm kind of it's a big question mark on how many of these 100 things I'm taking now on which is doing which, but I feel great.
Well, and then you're about to add, which what I was going to actually speak on was the oxidative stress levels that water has on our bodies. And Lindsay is the proud new owner of her hydrogen water machine. And I'm kind of curious to see what implementation that does alongside everything else, because it's not just one thing that completes everything.
Yeah.
It all comes together, right? Like the supplements, the water, everything. But I'm curious what that will do. Just take you off.
Yeah. Well, part of the reason they have those in so one of the main reasons that I purchased my water machine is because they actually have them in Christian's oncology office, and they use them specifically for their anti-inflammatory properties. So yeah, that's I think it's going to be a pretty big added benefit to the house across the board because we all have our stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Morgan, what is your
Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask her more about the water. Just I'm curious if you can speak on the mechanism by which water actually affects you on a cellular level and why it has the properties of reducing inflammation, because I don't know like how to explain it to people. Like yesterday when I flew here, I like took my water through TSA, and the guy who was testing my water was like so interested. He's like, "What is medical grade water?" And it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like trying to like explain it to him, and I was like, just Google hydrogenated water. And I was like, you know how they sell water bottles? That's basically bullshit. The pills work, but then the machine works the best. And then I was like, but it can only be alive for 2 or 3 days. And then the way I was saying it, I could just tell he was like,
well, so here
I was like,
here's just a tidbit of the science behind it, because hydrogen is obviously a naturally formed chemical, right? Hydrogen itself is a naturally formed chemical. So I just took a couple of notes because this is what really got me into it. Like, of course, I wanted clean water, but when you're talking about ADHD and brain fog, and then also inflammation, you have a serious.
None of us are at home today except for Lindsay. So we're dealing with the elements in the backgrounds.
I'm pretty well, yeah. Morgan's on a sales blitz, so that sounds like a morning correlation to me.
Yeah. So just to be quick and not interrupt everybody, the reality is inflammation has a serious effect on brain fog and how it impacts literally how we function every single day. So anti-inflammatory effects when it comes to ADHD symptoms specifically, like it's a theoretical, there's no specific like science that's proving it, but animal studies have proven that small trials suggest that hydrogen water removes oxidative stress and inherently helps inflammation, potentially offering neuroprotective benefits. So the whole idea is like, if we can implement little tiny things that help eliminate that brain fog, it's going to inherently help us in every other area, right? But really, there's so much science behind it. I could go on and on about the science behind how the actual machine works. But really, in ADHD, your dopamine system is completely dysregulated. So any type of brain fog at all is going to completely dysregulate us, right? So mental exhaustion, poor focus, forgetfulness. So I had this epiphany, even after drinking hydrogen water for even 3 or 4 months, where I'm like, wow, I'm not needing coffee or caffeine as often. I'm not needing to do these things to keep me awake like I used to. For example, taking some sort of ADHD medication, which I used to take. I'm not saying that I think hydrogen water is the cure all be all, but I do think that when it comes to the effects of what hydrogen water actually does, it acts as a specific antioxidant, which completely removes harmful radicals and reduces what's oxidative stress. So if you think about an apple and the way that an apple ages, it's sitting out on the counter, our bodies are the same exact way. So we're out in the environment, we're out in the elements, all these things, all the food we're putting in our bodies, all the pollution are affecting the way that we function. So if we can do anything to reduce the amount of oxidative stress on our bodies, what inherently is going to happen? And things like black seed oil, things like NAD, all of the things that help with cellular regeneration, but then in addition help with inflammation, are going to inherently help with brain fog. So that's really like a little bit of the snippet of what it does. But in addition, it holds as much as 2.5 pounds of blueberries in 1 glass of hydrogen water. So we can talk about antioxidants, we can talk about inflammation, all of those things, but they all help each other when they work together. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, yeah, hydrogen water is cool, having clean water is cool, but what is it doing like in terms of like aging us backwards when it comes to oxidative stress? So it's like, again, I could go on forever and ever about this, but it's like our metabolic health, our glucose and our fatty acid, our metabolism, everything these inflammatory markers show are reduced when providing, again, science has shown that it reduces oxidation, which again inherently reduces inflammation and brain fog. So I don't know, I could geek out to it all day, but it really is just like another added benefit to everything else we do. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself.
I love the energy. Shout out to you, Morgan. I don't think any of us would be able to stomach that kind of energy and action right now. So I hope all you're channeling all of the Andy Elliott that will lead you through success. Maybe go do some push-ups on someone's back or something.
Scream at somebody, call someone a pussy, whatever you need.
If you didn't get up at 4:30 to cold plunge and go to the gym, I think you're obviously not going to sell. So just give up.
But now
to their defense,
now that
to their defense.
Yeah, now that they're a little bit more quiet, I can go ahead and chime in. But yeah, I did not cold plunge this morning.
Wait, Lindsay, what were you gonna say?
So I do happen to know the team that she's with very well. I've cooked them dinner, and I'm proud to say that there are no AEs on that.
No, honestly, yeah, they're all great peeps. So shout out to the folks in Houston.
My little nuggets.
Shay, can I let you go last because you've been literally reading a book about this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I forgot the order. I wanted to expand on something that Morgan said. Sorry, guys. Don't laugh at me.
I love you so much.
I'm like dead tired. Just fun little tidbit. My twin sister had her baby last night. I'm in the hospital parking lot. I'm so tired. We can go.
Yeah, I honestly can't even believe that you're on this call right now.
Yeah. I mean, I committed to it, so I'm like, let's just do it.
We're so glad you're here. That baby looks amazing.
So excited.
So cute.
I'm so happy that they're both happy and healthy. Everything went well. Mazel tov.
Babies.
We love babies. Okay. I wanted to circle back to something Morgan said because it's like we're talking about inflammation in the brain. So I just quickly want to say, like, quickly the mechanisms that lead to that kind of inflammation and why it even matters, and kind of like reverse engineer that. So I'm gonna try not to screw this up. I used to know way more about this, honestly, when fitness was my whole personality. But essentially, like when the body is inflamed from stress or from other factors, triggers, processed food, whatever, it causes physiological responses that emit like inflammatory cytokines. And these cytokines, just basically think about them as like little invaders. Okay. So they penetrate like your blood brain barrier, the same way that good things penetrate the blood brain barrier, the same way that bad things do. And so when these cytokines, when these inflammatory cytokines penetrate the blood brain barrier and get into your cells, they actually mess with your neurotransmitter systems, which is like your dopamine, your norepinephrine, your serotonin. So basically, those are the regulating hormones that make us who we are. We think the way we think, we can focus the way we focus. Like literally, we don't even have a personality that's our own. We are a combination of different like levels of hormones and cellular functions that create our personalities. So
Interesting.
when those things are dysregulated, it causes all sorts of dysfunction, but primarily you're going to notice in slowdowns of cognitive function. And so mitochondrial dysfunction, we all remember this, right, from biology, the powerhouse of the cell, if anyone remembers anything from high school. But the
I don't. I didn't remember anything in high school.
Literally, that's the one thing everyone remembers from high school, is that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. That and the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's it. That's all we know. But anyway, the mitochondrial dysfunction that caused by inflammation can also cause like reduced brain energy metabolism. So literally the rate at which your brain is metabolizing is functioning. So that's what causes the slowdown. So when we're talking about mitigating inflammation, we're talking about mitigating those layers of the inflammatory cytokines and those responses, and down-regulating that, and essentially upregulating the physiological conditions that resolve inflammation. That being said, a lot of inflammation is necessary for the body, and inflammation is not something that when experienced you should just be like, oh, I need to mitigate that, because inflammation is a really powerful resource for your body and for your mind, as far as like, where is the problem? So if you're experiencing inflammation and it's like generalized or specific or whatever, like the answer is not to just take a bunch of like non-steroidal anti-inflammatories so that you don't have inflammation. It's to figure out where that inflammation is. That being said, things that mitigate inflammation from a natural perspective, I'm going to talk mainly about omega-3s. That's like my big thing. That's like my Windex, big fat Greek wedding reference. But that's what we're talking about, is down-regulating inflammatory cytokines and upregulating the body's natural inflammatory reducing or resolving response. So with omega-3s, like, I don't know, I generally, like, if you take, 500 milligrams of omega-3s, I take like 2 to 3 grams a day, because to me, that is like one of the most natural methods for anti-inflammatory support. And there's two components to omega-3. So there's your EPA and then there's your DHA. And so they're precursors to, they're called like resolvins and protectins, but they're precursors, and those are in your body. Those are specialized lipid mediators, and that's what actively resolves inflammation. So those are the kinds of things that actually downregulate your pro-inflammatory cytokines. And so not only that, but your omega-3s, like your fatty acids, are responsible for so much of your cognitive function, so much of your hormonal function. So that's
Britt,
like,
I was gonna say, you brought up the fatty acids part, because it's almost like a trending thing now, where people are realizing like, oh, it turns out we do need fats and avocados
yes,
to function,
yes,
brains to function.
yeah,
Real butter.
100%. And not only that, but like complete fatty acid sources, because you have like omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-9s. Some of them are more readily available. They have different components to them that kind of have different roles in the body. So like the EPA component of omega-3s is your more like anti-inflammatory. Your DHA is like more linked to like your brain, your memory, your cognitive, all that kind of stuff. And I don't remember the science exactly, but if you look up like any of the new studies coming out on like dementia, Alzheimer's, all these things, like omega-3 fatty acids play a huge component in that, which is why a lot of times, because it is considered now like a metabolic disorder and essentially a new version of diabetes. So now essentially that a lot of the recommendations, therapeutic recommendations and like standards of care are leaning towards like ketogenic based diets because of downregulating the inflammation in the brain and allowing your neurotransmitters the most possible support from all of those omegas. And then also like, not clouding your regulation system, I guess, with like your insulin response and things like that. But the DHA is like super concentrated in the brain and especially like in your synaptic membrane. So remember, Lindsay, when you were talking about synaptic pruning. So the actual physiological like structures in your brain that are altered when you are neurodivergent, whether it's autism and you have more of those synaptic membranes, or whether it's ADHD and it's like the way that they fire and things like that. The DHA is what supports like the actual neuron plasticity, the synapse function, and neurogenesis being the creation of new neurons. And then the EPA actually helps your mood regulation because that's what reduces like neuroinflammation and modulating those neurotransmitter systems like serotonin and dopamine. So turmeric is something that also I feel like is a huge part of my regimen, but yeah, yes, with black pepper. But as someone who's like was basically just fitness was like my whole personality. Like I worked at GNC, I was a personal trainer. All I did was lift. I competed in powerlifting. Switching to that, to moving, becoming a wife, becoming a business owner, like it's just part of my life. It is not my life anymore. So there's a lot that I have forgotten. And in remembering all these things, which has kind of been fun, like getting back on that horse, getting back on that journey, I'm telling you, omega-3 is like the number one thing that I was like, wait a minute, why am I only taking one of these a day? I legit used to take like 6 grams of omega-3s per day. Felt amazing. Just like powerlifting 3 hours a day. And I'm like, I need to get back to that. So that was the first thing that I upregulated was my omega-3s. And now I'm taking like 3 grams a day, starting to go up. But yeah, sorry, that was a lot, but I love omega-3s.
Wait, you're muted. You're muted, Linz.
Of course I am. I had dogs barking on my side. Apologies, guys. Morgan just had to jump off because she is in the throes of a live blitz. Brittany, you just made me realize what I'm going to title this episode. This is the one where we teach you all how to biohack.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, sort of. Biohacking for beginners.
To it.
Start with omega-3 fish oil and water.
Yep.
And like biohacking is such a catchphrase these days, but if you want to like rewrite it, it's like the ultimate lifestyle for longevity, and not just longevity, but enjoying the longevity. Like, let's feel energized. Let's feel good. Like, there are natural ways to do this and not the societal norm of here's a pill and hope you feel better.
And not only that, but like, it is not good to take freaking ibuprofen like every day or multiple times a day. Like, not just because I mean, you can look.
Dude, I sell insurance for a living. And the way that you qualify for insurance is your medical health, your age, and like your criminal background. And
really,
yeah, they don't want to insure people who are like reckless and have a bad record and stuff. Yeah, because like if you're out like stealing cars and shit, I don't know, whatever. But anyway,
you're more of a liability if you're dumb in your free time.
100%.
And shorter lifespan if you've been to prison a couple times, I'd imagine.
100%. And so like people who Number one, they go off of prescriptions. So if you are on a laundry list of prescriptions, it is going to be really expensive to get insured, or you're not, or you're just going to straight up get denied. And number two, the number of people that I hear that are like, I am prescribed like 6 ibuprofen a day. I'm like, oh, they prescribed you 6 ibuprofen a day. It's very normal. And I'm like, who?
Yeah.
Who? Your doctor.
Well, the problem too is like those doctors are basically following like a standard of care protocol, which has been written essentially by the big pharma companies that they learn in
100%.
medical school. And if they don't follow the standard of care and they say like, hey, you should go home and take some fish oil, God forbid something happens to you, now they are liable
Liable.
for their license because they didn't follow the standard of care, even though the standard of care is something that should be crumpled up and thrown into a trash basket.
Yeah, but I mean, people just have to
Agreed.
search for other ways, and it takes time, effort, resources, money, so but yeah, so Brittany mentioned that I'm reading a book right now, and I am doing that. It's called Eat it's called Eat Smarter by Sean Stevenson, and the reason that I started reading it is because I have PMDD, or also known as premenstrual dysphoric disorder, where you have similar symptoms to PMS 10 to 15 days before your period, but it is way more accelerated and a lot more of a mental game. So anxiety, depression, hostility, severe mood swings, lots of anger, bloating, water retention, constipation, all kinds of stuff before in the second half of your cycle. Headaches, yes, migraines. And since it was about half of the women who have ADHD also have PMDD, and almost all of autistic women also have PMDD, I started looking into how to better cure or minimize the struggles that I go through every single month, because I've been dealing with this for years and I just can't take it. And when you go to a doctor, you look up anything online, they suggest 2 things, which is hormonal birth control, no for me, and an antidepressant, no for me. I took Lexapro in 2023, and I literally wrote to take my own life letters and was like fully thought I shouldn't be here. I don't want to be here. Like, it was a fucked up my head. So I had to stop taking those. So I will never take an antidepressant ever again. And hormonal birth control, I just have never been on it. I don't want to be on it. I've heard the horror stories. It's just not for me. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. So I started doing a ton of research about PMDD and what else like we can do about this. And it was just labeled or considered an actual disorder in 2013. And it's been kind of shoved to the side for, since the beginning of time, because it's something to do with women's health, women's menstruation, women's emotions. And so when that comes up, people are like, they're being dramatic. It's PMS. We don't need to study this. It's very different from PMS. Okay. So I wanted to mention, first of all, that the word inflammation the origin of that word is Latin, and it literally means a setting on fire, to set on fire. And so if you can remember that, like, inflammation, to set on fire, it is setting a fire inside of your body, and it is shortening the length of your life. It is making you you look older. It's inflaming your body. It's causing you pain. It's causing your joints to swell. It's causing your brain to dysfunction. Inflammation is horrible for you. Why are we inflamed? We're inflamed because we don't drink clean water. We're inflamed because we're stressed the fuck out all the time. We're inflamed because we're staring at a screen. We're eating processed foods, way too much sodium, way too much sugar, and way too much alcohol. Like, we are living in a society that's fast and convenient, and that fast and convenience is a quicker way to the grave, my friends. And I'm so sorry, but it's true. If we always take the easy way out, the easy way out's going to come to us real quick too. Okay. So taking care of yourself with intention takes effort. But here's what I think. We should all at least educate ourselves on our current lifestyle and what it's doing to us, because you can't unknow what you know. And it's really hard to continue putting shit in your body when you know what it's doing. Okay. So what I've been doing lately is no processed food, no sugar, no alcohol. I haven't used salt all week. And that's the hardest. I'm a savory girl. So that's been a little tough, but it's not that bad. And I started looking into foods that help your hormones and mental health specifically, which this may seem kind of crazy, but go ahead, Linz.
You need to try the Flavor God seasonings.
Oh,
I'm just gonna
okay.
throw that out there. They're called Flavor God. I use them.
I've heard
I
of
can't use the
this.
sweet ones because the sweet ones have coconut powder in them.
Oh yeah.
Because they've got like a cinnamon roll and a chocolate donut and a few other like sweet ones. But I use the savoring ones on everything. They're manufactured here in Vegas, actually, weirdly enough. But no
Is that
salt,
not like
whole ingredient.
I also think that salt is a really important electrolyte and you shouldn't be cutting it out. You should be using quality
You
salt.
do need some. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry,
Malden.
I should not. I guess that was maybe a little extreme. You
Don't
do
use
need,
iodized salt though, like the blue stuff.
yeah. I only have Himalayan sea salt, and sorry. I've lowered the amount. I'm a salt girly. Okay. So I haven't like cut it completely out, but it's a lot less. You know what I mean? So
I use the Redmond real salt. I like even first thing in the morning, I try to like put it in some water. Cause like your electrolytes, like that's your foundation. If you can hydrate yourself, like electrolytes in the morning, you know what I mean? Take some omega-3s, mitigate your inflammation. That's already like 3 of your bases covered.
yeah. And
Reckitt.
also
I'm using the Malden salt.
I'm new to this whole thing. Like I know about nutrition. I know about the benefits of working out and stuff. I have not like dove as far as I've been diving into it recently. So, yeah, please like chime in. But I wanted to figure out, so I always knew that we had macronutrients, your proteins, fats, and your carbs. And I was like, okay, so probably need to do a lot of protein, a good amount of fat, and like not as many carbs. Cool, got it. And that's just kind of how I've lived my life. But now I'm like digging into it and I'm realizing the food that you eat directly, it affects your mental health, which I knew. But what I guess I didn't realize is that there are foods that can enhance your mental health, which is like what I'm freaking looking for here. And so all of these are just something, this is just kind of what I've been eating this week. And so I was looking into, or sorry, not looking into it, but so salmon, so you have your omega-3s. And then you can also do tilapia if it's like organic, like you need to be careful with tilapia because if it's from somewhere like, where do they have those nasty ass farms like India or something like that? Like you don't want to do that. You need high quality tilapia if you're going to do this. But so it's high in lean protein, B vitamins. It supports mental health, hormone balance, and reduces bloating. And then eggs and egg whites, it stabilizes your blood sugar and reduces mood swings, supports brain health and hormone balance. Sweet potatoes are rich in magnesium, which calms anxiety and mood swings. High in fiber, which is going to help your digestion and your bloating. And then also high in vitamin B6, which helps make serotonin. Like what the heck? I didn't know that was in food. It helps boost your serotonin. That is so cool. And then all of your antioxidants, so gonna help reduce inflammation, support hormone health, prevent bloating. So that's gonna be like your vegetables, your berries, and then spinach, also high in magnesium, eases cramps, irritability, and anxiety. And then around your period, you're gonna be really low on iron just naturally, so you can supplement that with spinach, and you don't have to take an iron pill. Grab a bushel of organic spinach, put it in a pan, and it will do the same thing. Dang it.
Love the word bushel.
Bushel. And it
Cook it
becomes
in a cast iron. Cook it in a cast iron and you're like adding iron benefits.
Yeah.
oh,
I
Yeah.
actually had
cool.
like really high iron the last time I got my blood work done, and they asked me if I cook in a cast iron skillet a lot.
Yeah. I
Oh,
cook in a cast iron
interesting.
all the time. So if you have iron, because if I take an iron supplement, it's too much iron and my body overdoses.
Well, not only that,
Doesn't
but
like
iron
it.
supplements are like one of the trickiest things to actually put into a supplement that is bioavailable and that doesn't mess with you. Like it's really difficult to get like a high quality iron supplement that works or is absorbed at all. It's very hard.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So I was reading about that. So that part is in this book that I'm reading too, and it's about like how you're eating your food. So you don't get the same nutrients if you're eating raw spinach versus if you're eating spinach that's been cooked and broken down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Isn't that cool? It's
Mm-hmm.
really cool. So I think I if we have any like trigger warning eating disorder, if we have any women out there that are listening to this from that perspective, I see you, I am you. I struggle with eating disorder stuff a lot. And I think a lot of my mind is, I can't eat that. Don't eat that. Oh my God, how many calories is this? What is on my plate? And is this gonna make me gain weight? Like blah 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 blah. Like these are the things that I'm going through a lot to try and heal this, but it's still something that I am going through. With this knowledge, it's not this mindset of restriction. It's, oh my gosh, I need to eat this. I need more of this. I want more of that. And it's been like, rather than pushing things away and restricting myself, it's been like, give me this, give me, give me, give me, give me. And it's like brought me closer to food, which I'm like, you are not a scary thing. You are a good thing, you know, when you're
Mm-hmm.
learning like what you should be having. And like I noticed this week, anytime I look down at my plate, which following this like PMDD like lifestyle, I don't want to say diet because I don't want to.
It's
And
lifestyle
so
change.
yeah, like lifestyle change. And I like look at my plate, and instead of seeing calories or carbs or fats, I'm looking down at my plate and seeing vitamin B6 and omega-3 and you know, sustainable energy, and oh, that is some magnesium, and like I'm seeing things that are going to help. And I have not once this week thought about how how many calories is this. I'm just like, get in me and help me heal. It's been great. It's been a really great experience. So
I love that. And also I will say too that like isn't that interesting that that's one of the first principles that we learn of like success and abundance is like stop focusing on what you don't want and start focusing on what you do want. And isn't it interesting also that food and money are usually the two things that people have just like super unhealthy relationships with that are really hard to break,
yeah,
you know?
100%.
Like
Mhm.
and it's the same principles that apply. It's like the more you focus on what you don't want and what does not serve you, the more of it you will have. And the more contentious your relationship with that thing will be. Whereas like when you start reframing into like, okay, what does serve me? What is going to heal me? Like what do I need? You know, like okay, yesterday on the plane, Southwest Airlines, right? They give you two snacks, one sweet, one savory. And like I was feeling snacky, you know? I got I'm in that mode and I look in the ingredients. The savory has enriched like flour product in it. The sweet, it was like a I don't know, some kind of like pretzel and then like a cinnamon, like a graham cracker type thing. That one does not have enriched wheat in it. And so like I wasn't looking at like, oh, calories, like I shouldn't be eating this late, like blah 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 blah. Like was that kind of in the back of my mind? Like, yeah, a little bit, but I'm also like, whatever, like I'm PMSing. I want some snacks. It's been a long day. And I was like, okay, well, I just looked at the ingredients. I'm like, is this gonna cause me unnecessary inflammation?
Yeah.
This one is cool. I'm not gonna eat that one, but
Yeah.
this one.
You just,
I mean,
the pain, it becomes not worth it anymore.
yeah.
Like if I eat this, I'm going to feel like crap. And like so I don't eat gluten. If I accidentally get um it depends on how much, but if I get like a little bit, I have anxiety immediately. Isn't that crazy? And then I pass out. My body can't handle. I pass out. I'm so like sleep, go to sleep. I'm so tired. And it's just so
From that upregulation of inflammatory cytokines.
100%. Yes, I'm just
In
learning about
baking.
that in this book. And so all of this to say is that we just talked a lot about what can help your brain function, which is you know, where we store autism and ADHD, and our brains need a little extra help, and that help is not always found at your local physician's office. Okay, there are ways that there are things that you can eat, supplements that you can take that will directly heal your body and your microbiome, that is directly linked to the master, which is our brain, which is where our neurodivergents live. And there is a way to take care of that. And so you know, I think it's really important that we consider what's going in, because on the contrary, things that we put in, like binge drinking, lots of sugar, processed foods, things like that, it has a really negative impact on our body. And I you know, a lot of people are say like people base others' health on what they physically look like, and it's just not right. It doesn't, like, you know what I'm saying? So
Doesn't
anyway,
translate always.
no, it doesn't. You know, I was like thinner than I've ever been in the last like year, but I mean, I just like wasn't eating a lot and like eating gummy worms at nighttime. Like I was not being healthy. You know what I mean? So um anyway,
You know something interesting? That this is something that like my grandmother taught me this many years ago. But this is something interesting to me that defines the entire American medical system and our food industry in general for me across the board. One of the healthiest things that you can do for your body, for anti-inflammatories, etc., is to walk into your backyard and pick some fucking dandelions, boil them in some water, and drink them. One of the things that's been deemed one of the most invasive weeds for the United States is actually one of the healthiest ingredients. You can eat them, you can boil them, you can dry them, you can soak them in sugar and dry them and eat them as a fruit snack. I've done it all. And let me tell you, it's that thing alone, the fact that something that's been deemed an invasive weed that needs to be eradicated by not only the FDA, but the Department of Agriculture, is one of the healthiest things that we've got free and unlimited access to. Like, just
Actually,
blows
yeah,
my
that's a
mind.
great supplement too, especially when you're feeling inflamed or bloated or whatever. Dandelion root extract. You can also buy it in a tea, or you can go in your backyard like Lindsay does and pick it out of the ground and then boil them. But yeah, it's super good for liver function. Like dandelion root, milk thistle, NAC is actually good for your liver too, also for your lungs. But yeah.
I was also reading, which you guys I'm sure already know this, but I've been so happy to jump on this train.
So happy to
Um,
have you on the Gaines train.
it's great. I've loved
Happy for me to be back on the Gaines train, remembering the things that I forgot.
it. The it said in this book, buying organic food, not just produce, food, period, is not a gimmick, it's not trendy, and it's not quirky. It is necessary. And it was like, it is not just something fancy and funsy to do. It is an absolute necessary habit that you need to have in your life, is only buying organic food. And it was talking about pesticides. So pesticides, what are they? It is a chemical that is sprayed onto our crops that is meant to what? Kill pests, teeny tiny little pests. So pesticides are not meant to kill large organisms, i.e. a human being, but what they are meant to do is kill little tiny bugs. We have really, really good bacteria in our microbiome that we need to function. We need to feel safe. That keeps that regulates our emotions and our mental health and our literal fucking brain. And so we're eating these pesticides from this non-organic food, and it's going in and it's killing that bacteria, those teeny little microorganisms, because that's what pesticides are meant to do. And I was like, oh my God,
Want to
Isn't
know
it?
something about pesticides?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you want to know how the United States agriculture began using pesticides? So, in the Vietnam
Yes.
War, when they were using chemicals chemical aerosols that they were spraying on the Vietnam population, that was Agent Orange. Do you remember anything about Agent Orange?
No.
So Agent Orange essentially was an aerosol chemical bioweapon that they, during the Vietnam Wars, when they started doing this, this is how they would like combat. So now you think of like drone strikes and all those things. What they would do is they would literally spray Agent Orange, which is this chemical, onto the Vietnam population. They would spray it on their farms, on the people, everything, and it is a burn. Like they used similar chemicals as well in World War II in the concentration camps, and it would burn you from the inside out. After the Vietnam War ended, these companies that created these chemical bioweapons for designed for warfare had stockpiles left over. Thus came a company called Monsanto that now
Oh,
implemented
fuck
them.
those guys. I did a project on them in 5th grade.
So Monsanto, this is how they came out. Those are the chemicals that they were spraying on the population as chemical biological warfare during the Vietnam era and also during World War II, killing Jews in concentration camps. That is what they use as pesticides. That is what Monsanto is. That is what all of those pesticides are. Like that, they weren't meant to kill bugs to allow crops to grow. They were meant to kill human beings. And then when there was so much left over from the war, they wanted to figure out what to do with it so they can keep making money off of it.
And
Holy
I've got
shit.
some unfortunate news for you on the organic side of things, being somebody that grew up in apple country. I know a few different orchards that are labeled as organic where I, myself, and multiple children I grew up with have very specific memories of dancing through those orchards as the sprays were coming down. So
So
quite a
I,
few of those kids
Important to
also
wash
in
your
the Roundup
produce.
lawsuit. So
Like
Yes.
regardless. And the
This-
dirt dozen, you have to always buy organic.
this
Yeah.
is what I am aware of that because because I'm used to being lied to by our government.
She says
everybody else.
But I don't trust those fuckers anyways. But they mentioned that in the book, but it's better than not buying organic
Oh yeah.
so
Well, and you're also eradicating when you do organic, you are eradicating the ability for there to be genetically modified seeds also. So you do you negate some of it.
yeah.
And sometimes you can tell if it's bullshit, you know what I mean? Like if I go to buy like organic blueberries and they're fucking this big, like no, thank you.
Me and my sister, we were in the when we used to live in the Virgin Islands, and we worked at this restaurant, and we went in the stock fridge, and there were strawberries in there like this fucking big. And I remember my sister was like, what
What,
in
the GMO?
GMO is going? Huge. Yeah, it was.
I'm not even like as against some like GMO as I am just about like the pesticides and things like that, because I also think that food science is really cool and genetic science is really cool. And if you can crossbreed or whatever petri dish of strawberry and then make it like that big, I don't know, it's a cool science project as long as like no
Until you ingest
nutrients
it and
or
then your
harm.
cells start doing the same things internally.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is as long as no cells are harmed in the making of that process. Because it's kind of like what is it, mules? Like when you crossbreed a donkey and a horse, you get a mule, and a
Yep.
mule cannot mules can't mate with other mules, like they're sterile.
Like ligers also, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
but mules are great. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Fantastic.
So that's kind of what I'm
Ligers are
getting
beautiful.
at.
That's true. So we were just talking about all the things that we do to benefit ourselves,
Yes.
but something that we also all have in common is that we've had times in our life, or we still have, have slip ups or whatever, where we're not. So that leads us right into, is it just me, or do do you also spiral when, what was it? I'm messing
When
this
you're
up.
not on track.
On
Yeah, when
track.
you're not on track. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually I can kick off with that because I'm on a recovery bound at the moment, if you guys want.
Please
Yeah.
do.
I drank way too much at the Masters and ate way too much white bread with egg salad. Let me tell you. The beer and the egg salad sandwiches with the red dye number 40 friggin' hot sauce, I'm pretty sure, and the kettle blaze potato chips, whatever,
Oh.
the Masters brand.
Li-
I got back to Vegas at I think 168 pounds and a full face and could not see a single ab. And I walk around pretty shredded most of the time. It's like there's some definition down there for as old as I'm getting. No, I came back looking like a whole ass marshmallow. And that's actually when I switched up. I'm not drinking at all. I
Was it
haven't
worth it
since.
though?
It was fantastic, but that was the first time I think in the last few years that I really woke up one morning and was like, holy shit, I'm inflamed.
Yeah.
Like, this is no joke. Like, where I just feel puffy, like where you can't fully bend your fingers and like, oh,
Yes.
horrible.
The worst.
Yeah. So I haven't been drinking since. Actually, I got some shit last night at this young entrepreneurs networking event because I wasn't drinking. And I'm like, y'all are young. Y'all are young, and the inflammation is not hurting you the same as it's hurting me, because I've switched up a lot of stuff. I completely changed my diet. I'm doing some intermittent fasting, but with some detox on top of it. So
How are you
yeah.
detox?
So I'm doing a detox bath every other night. I'm going really hot and I'm hand blending my own bombs. So I have these big gauze bags that I fill with. So I'm doing lemongrass, chamomile, I've got cinnamon stick, I've got a whole stack of stuff. Most people don't know this about me, but I hand blend my own teas and I've got like 90 ingredients on the other side of the room over here. But so I make bath bomb bags that I will soak with. And then I have these filters too that also go over the faucet that ionize the water also.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
yeah, that was actually a pretty cool Christmas gift. But yeah, so that, and I'm doing some other, like I've quadrupled the amount of magnesium I'm taking at the moment to get my cortisol to come back down.
What are you taking? Glycinate at night, or what kind of magnesium are you taking?
I'm taking citrate and I'm taking it at night for
Oh,
bed.
Let
That's
me ask
magnesium
you
citrate
something.
and it's the high absorption kind.
I take that for months and it was great, but do you not have gas that just smells vile?
No, but
Mine was
I don't know if I've
secret.
ever been a gassy person though.
well, also if you are like if you don't like have a regular bowel movement like pretty much daily and have it like within maybe 45 minutes or so of waking up, that a lot of times can be an indicator that you actually are low in magnesium, because magnesium is really important for your digestive motility. So
And I'm
maybe
super
it's like,
regular.
yeah, and like sometimes, I mean, it could be like the kind of magnesium you're taking, the form, the brand, the quality, like the whatever. But that it's interesting that you're having a digestive response or had a digestive response from it, because that could be an.
Oh,
I'm also missing my gallbladder, my main bile duct. Like, I'm missing a bunch of stuff that would produce the normal amount of stomach acid that would make most people gassy. So I am a weird exception. Like,
I
it's
have
so
all those
rare
cards.
that I'm
I'm very
gassy at all,
gassy.
ever. And I
that's
intake a lot of
crazy.
protein and colostrum and all sorts of stuff that you would think would make. I don't know.
I really hope to start going to the bathroom regularly because I haven't
Vitamin
in
D and
years.
magnesium, Shay.
Yeah, I'm working on it, people.
Yeah. vitamin D and magnesium. I take glycinate. I actually don't take citrate. I take a glycinate at night. I take magnesium glycinate with a zinc, and then I take from Pure Encapsulations. It's the best rest formula, so it has like GABA, lemon balm, chamomile, valerian, that sort of thing. And that's helped me a lot with like I think regulating cortisol. The one and also something that's super helpful for regulating cortisol, Lindsay. I don't know if you take ashwagandha.
I do.
Yeah. That it's something I learned about ashwagandha is actually supposed to be cycled. I think 90 days, every 90 days on, 30 days off or something like that.
So I'm also doing coffee enemas once in a while too.
Okay, how is that?
You mean you put it in your butt?
Yeah.
Oh.
I asked John if he would help me do that, and he was like, absolutely the fuck not. But I was like,
It's not, you just get a bag and you hang it up like in your bathtub, and you just lay on your, like, I literally put a pillow under my head and I lay and it just hangs and does its thing, and then I get up and go to the restroom. I don't know why I'm
I
sharing
think
that
my
way.
entire colon needs
want
to
to
be
try that.
cleansed. I guarantee you I have poo in my colon that is years old. My digestion has been fucked for years. Years.
yeah.
Do you take a
You
greens
should
powder, Shay?
definitely.
No.
Can I recommend you AG1?
Yeah, but I read the AG1 was bullshit. So I
It's
was like, I'm not gonna take it.
It's really good. I notice a difference when I take it. And I take a daily
I
multivitamin.
can't.
But it also
Here's
has
the
like
problem.
stuff that I have a bunch. I can give you like a week's worth or 2 weeks worth.
John takes it too, so we have it at the house. Here's the fucking problem is with my ADHD, I am not great at like articles, but like you get on any platform and it's like AG1 is the best. AG1 is bullshit. Eggs are so good. Eggs are horrible for you. Eat plenty of carrots. Carrots are gonna kill you. Like it's like
Here's the
so
thing.
fucking hard to pick.
Raw
Like
carrots are really good for female
Well, here's the
hormone
thing.
balance.
Here's
just
the thing
saying.
is anything can be good or bullshit. You have to supplement with specificity. You can't just go on forums and see, oh, people say, oh, this thing is awesome, and then take it and expect to feel awesome. Awesome is not a specific target goal for a supplement. You have to know exactly what you're using to supplement it for. So I think that AG1 has a really good ratio of like a daily multivitamin as well as pre and probiotic support with like gut support. And it has ingredients in there that actually are really good for like motility, inflammation, things like that. So it's kind of like if you took a multivitamin and a probiotic and a prebiotic, like all in one. Like in the morning, I'll do like my scoop of protein with like a scoop of collagen, glutamine, and then with AG1. And I found it to be super helpful. But yeah, I think specificity is important. Like there is a lot of stuff that's out there. You just have to know like what do you want? What effect do you want? What are you really trying to target? And like Lindsay was saying earlier, she's taking so much. She like has put so many new things in that she doesn't know what like it is. So try one new thing for like 10 days.
Yeah.
10 to 14 days. Because 10 to 14 days is usually long enough to like see if it's doing something good or something bad or nothing at all,
So for me, it's really crazy. My body like really responds to the food that I'm eating. Like if I eat really bad for, a couple months, I will put on that weight. If I have my shit together, I lose weight really, really easily. Like my body really responds.
Takes
But like,
you months to gain weight?
huh?
I said it takes you months to gain weight. What's that like?
I don't know, but I what was I gonna say? Oh, last weekend I didn't like drink. Like we went to a reggae festival and I had one like White Claw, but that's it. Like nothing that I would be hungover. But I was about to start my period and Johnny and I were just like, we just had an eating weekend. We tried a new restaurant on Friday. On Saturday, we were like, hitting the food trucks and had a big dinner. And then Sunday we had brunch and we were just eating all weekend. And I was just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna eat this weekend, have a little, whatever. I literally felt hung the fuck over on Monday. Like hung over. I woke up, I was like, this is some bullshit. I wasn't drinking this weekend. I wanted to wake up, feel great. But I'm like, of course you don't feel great. We just ate all week. weekend. It's like when I
That
like fall
processed
off.
food makes you inflamed.
Yeah, it was. I was like, we're starting this like detox, like not detox, but like we're changing our lifestyle literally Monday. Like, let's go in on the food this weekend. And I was like, immediate regret. So tired. My face was so puffy. Underneath my eyes were just like, my cheeks were like, and my stomach was freaking, it was wild. I was like, okay. So, when I fall off track, whether it's this or that, my body responds so terribly. So
Mhm.
anyway, but well, this is kind of a funny episode, you guys. I'm so sorry. Like we're all out doing like all these different things, but
All
my
good.
twin sister just messaged me and I'm like at the hospital. She just had her baby less than 12 hours ago. So
I see that baby.
she needs my help. So I'm gonna go.
Oh, be auntie. Congratulations, Auntie Shay.
Thanks. I just took my
Yeah.
Enneagram test yesterday and apparently I'm a number 2, which is like the helper. So I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
that
like,
makes so
"Okay, I
much
have to
sense.
go.
Your
Someone
what
help
test?
me." Huh?
Somebody needs me.
Your
Yeah.
what test?
Enneagram.
Enneagram.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's wild. Everybody knows what that is. Okay, love you guys.
All right,
Bye.
love you, bye.
I'll explain it. All right.
Lindsay, can you enlighten
I'm
me?
a 9-wing 1 on my Enneagram.
What is an Enneagram?
It's what personality-ish testing, similar to Myers-Briggs, etc.
Oh, I haven't taken that one. I should take it. Last time I did a Myers-Briggs, I was a ENTP.
I'm an INTJ.
Yeah.
A, the architect.
AF.
AF. It's fair. But the coolest thing, do you know who was also an INTJ? Is because the females and the males are different. Because Elon Musk is a male INTJ,
Yeah.
and he very much fits that. But the female INTJs are very different, and I have to anchor in this fact, otherwise I kind of feel like, God, am I a fucking alien? But no, the INTJ female, Jane Austen. Jane Austen
Yeah.
was an INTJ female.
Yeah.
They have a very different personality type. Thank God.
Yeah, it's really interesting how the same set of parameters can manifest so differently across sexes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I was gonna say the being off track thing. I mean, she's like, oh yeah, if I eat bad for a couple months, I'm like, what? Like I was
One weekend.
2022, I was like the most shredded I think I'd ever been. And then I feel like I have been off track basically since like March of 2023 because actually that was like my fittest because I was like mid my second 75 hard and then my grandpa passed away in March and he was supposed to walk me down the aisle at my wedding in September and that was like dude everything went haywire and then March my grandpa passed away, got back, September was the wedding so I was just wedding planning, then October we moved once and then February or something, whatever, we moved again. And it was like, I feel like I haven't been on track since in like a year and a half,
Building
and
a business is just like
well,
having a baby. It takes a couple of years to get your life back together.
yeah. But the thing is like, and something I feel like this podcast has kind of helped with is I'm trying to have a little bit more grace like with that aspect, but it is also difficult because a lot of the things that we talked about like when it's like a cycle, right? Like when you're off track, let's say you can get let's just call it like self-hate. I don't know what you want to call it, being super critical, but like it's more violent than that, like especially I don't know if it's worse for women who are neurodivergent, but like I
Yes.
for,
Short answer.
yeah, I mean in I think it was like November or something, I got put on progesterone, which like is probably the biggest regret that I have because I did my blood work and they're like, "Oh, your progesterone's low." And like I got on it for a couple months and it just made everything a lot worse. And it put like 10 to 15 pounds of weight on me almost overnight that I like still haven't been able to lose. And I've been, you know, I have like a very healthy lifestyle. Like I eat very conscientiously, like am I meal prepping the way I used to? No. But am I putting intention towards like making sure that I have a good amount of protein, making sure I stay away from processed food, like, having a lot of what you would call like moderation in my life, but moderation for me is not enough. Like, I can't be at my best with moderation, and that's something that is really frustrating. But the level of like sometimes very severe like self-hatred is like dangerous. You know, when you like look in the mirror and you hear the thoughts and you're just like, "Oh my gosh, like you cannot talk to yourself like that." But then you start spiraling, you know, and you can't like you notice it coming out, but you can't quite help it, you know? And so I try to like counter every negative thought with a positive thought and like almost pull it back out of the air before I like put it out into the universe type deal. And so it takes a lot of like constant just awareness of like yourself and trying to reverse it and mitigate it, and you know, just trying to focus more on the steps that you are taking rather than like how far off the wagon you have fallen. You know, especially when you're like how far you fell off the wagon is just increased because of how difficult it is for you to just maintain in moderation to begin with. You know what I mean? Like as someone who I have to be like obsessed with fitness in order to look fit. Like if other people had lived my lifestyle, they would be like lean and jacked and like, you know what I mean? So that can get so frustrating, but when you're actually like implementing things and learning about things, like that's what helps me the most is getting back on track. And like I said, I'm like remembering things that I forgot, you know, when fitness was basically my whole personality. You know, I feel like I could rattle off all of these facts without even like blinking an eye, you know, and I was just taking all the supplements and training 2-3 hours a day and all that kind of stuff. And now it's like, okay, how do I have that level of commitment, passion, and balance to something that I am not spending 3+ hours a day on, you know, and like finding that like that balance. But just taking little steps, I feel like helps me get back on track when I'm off of that routine. Like if I have an extra couple hours, like I'm just training hard, you know? Like even recently I was like, why haven't I been like lifting heavy? Like my body responds to me lifting heavy, you know? I'm
Yeah.
like, not so much of like weight gain as like muscle loss, you know?
You're a villager, ma'am. You were meant to plow.
Yeah, that's true.
My body's the same way. My body reacts so much better to me lifting heavy weights and like putting in extraneous work
Mhm.
over cardio 1000% of the time. And I don't
Mhm.
know what it is. We are just not meant to be runners, ma'am. We are meant to move heavy shit.
Oh, dude, I only run like out of patience and after taco trucks.
If I'm being chased, that's about it. I better be fear for
I
my
will
life.
square up. I'm not
Yes.
running.
We're just and you know, maybe I love you to death, but maybe there's a little part of you that might need to redefine what your best is for you right now too.
Yeah, I think what I've been working on as far as that goes is redefining my best as sticking to the daily disciplines that I know serve me.
Controllables.
Not an aesthetic thing, not a numbers weight thing, not a whatever. It's like am I tracking my macros? Am I eating like a fair amount of protein? Am I trying to eat like multiple colors? Am I staying like am I doing these right things? And also am I training really hard? Like and the thing
I
that's
think
really
also your body is trying to get you ready for bearing children. So,
yeah,
but I'll keep
maybe,
that
hopefully,
opinion
God willing,
to the side.
you know? But also, like, I don't know what version of me was able to get up and go to the gym and be there by, like, 6:30 AM, you
The
know? Like
version that wasn't running multiple businesses and trying to build a house and a family and a brand and all of the things, ma'am.
yeah, but I feel like I should be able to do that too.
We all do. I do too. And look at the level of burnout that I'm sitting in right now. I'm literally one negative phone call or text away from running off into the mountains for the next 6 months and disappearing entirely. I'm navigating a level of burnout right now that I do not understand how to navigate at all. And I'm pretty sure it's because, just like what you just said, I feel like I should be able to do all this.
Let's talk on that for a minute. Where do we feel like that should comes from? Is it because we see other people
Because
being able to do
when
it, or
you're
is it because we've done it before?
Because when you know that you're wired differently from the rest of the world, and the majority of the love that you have received throughout your entire life comes from you showing up and showing out and being the overachiever, it develops into multiple areas of our life where we don't feel like we're good enough if we're not doing it all.
Yeah. And that comes down to like one of the toxic things that we talked about in the past on past episodes of like toxic sales environments or toxic whatever is like when your worth or your value is tied to your production.
And mine is so hardwired in that I don't even know, apart from creating infrastructures for myself where I don't really work for anybody else, where I get to set the parameters of what all of my business like dealings are. Apart from that and being able knowing how to protect myself, I don't know what else to do about it. Because
Hmm.
it's so, apart from me writing what that success actually looks like for myself, I don't know how
Yeah.
else to navigate.
Isn't it interesting that all of our conversations seem to come down to like what more can we do instead of like what less can we remove? That doesn't make sense grammatically, but you know what I mean? Like what can we remove that is unnecessary or like could like beneficial in some way, in some financial way, but not necessarily beneficial from like a holistic, like building your life.
But all feels necessary.
Ooh, ooh, that part.
It does. It all feels necessary.
Ooh.
Like, was I way too burnt out to have half the conversations that I had yesterday, pull out my entire work task list, get to the gym, spend some time in the sun, get my admin done, get my kid to batting practice, get to a networking event? Like, no. I did not want to feel like that was all necessary. Did it feel like it was all necessary? Absolutely. And I don't think I'm the only working mom out there that is wired this way, that is like struggling to be all the things right now, neurodivergent or not, you know?
That's something that I respect so much about like all of my amazing friends that are moms. I'm just like, what is it that happens to you when you become a mom where you just like now you just have this like crazy next level of gear where you're just like feelings don't matter. Like now like, you know,
'Cause it's not about me anymore.
yeah.
It hasn't been about me for 20 years.
Yeah.
So when you're overachiever and it's not about you anymore, when you start overachieving for the people that you feel emotionally, physically responsible for, there's not the normal barrier of, is this healthy?
Hmm.
Because their well-being is always going to come before mine. And so it leaves you, especially as a neurodivergent, it leaves you in a space where I often overreach my physical, emotional safe spaces to create and provide. Like that's almost a daily thing for
Hmm.
me. It's a taxation for sure. I mean, well worth it, because they're going to be able to live a life that I am now having to fight for. But there's definitely a disassociation of self when you
Yeah.
become a mother.
That's crazy.
Still love every minute of it, and that's the wildest part.
Yeah.
There's no like, I don't know.
Yeah, man. Sometimes I just like I find myself panicking, you know? I'm just like I'm sick or something happens and I'm just like useless and dead to the world and I'm like, what if I had kids right now that like relied on
You
me?
you you just get up and do it anyways. And I don't even know how to explain that willpower or where it comes from. I really don't.
I don't even know if it's
There's
like
been so many
willpower
days I'm like
because I feel like
dead.
that is a conscious decision. I feel like it's more of like a literal like ability, like capability. I don't know. Like
No, it's definitely a decision, because I've seen many women that should never have been mothers that would not. I had one, so I can speak on that.
touche.
Yeah, like many that where I had to speak with truancy officers because she wasn't around to call into the school or to take me to the doctor to actually get diagnosed for the strep throat that I had week after week for years. Like, I assure you that it is a choice that's made by women that want to be mothers.
Touche. I guess the same way that it's a choice made by men that want to be fathers.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Dude, what else are you taking with your NAD and black seed oil? Because actually, you know, and the astaxanthin. Because you know what? I just remembered, like, I had the best supplement regimen when I worked at GNC, obviously, because I had the best freaking discount.
Access.
Yeah, and it was like I literally did nothing. I was single. I didn't even have my dog yet. All I did was like work and work out. I was a professional meathead, you know, and it was a lot of fun. And I would just have like the sickest discount on all the subs, you know. And there was a really great collagen with resveratrol product because you were talking about like cellular regeneration, and that was something that I
I'm
remember.
taking colostrum for that.
Yeah, I tried a colostrum for a month or 6 weeks or so. I didn't see any benefit or difference. I don't know if it was the brand or if it was like other factors. It's something I would be maybe willing to try, but right now I'm trying to like keep it as specific as possible because whenever I've added like a bunch of stuff, it's just like I can't tell what's working, you know? It's like I want to know what's working so that I don't spend as much money on things that aren't working because now it's not just me, it's also that, you know, it's my husband. I'm trying to like, I just put stuff in his vitamin box and then I'm just like, did you take your vitamins? Take your vitamins. And then he just takes whatever's in there and counts on the fact that I'm not poisoning him.
I love that. What
Like,
else am
what
I
even am I
taking?
taking? Shh, shh.
So I'm taking sea moss, elderberry, black seed oil. I'm taking ashwagandha right now. Burdock root, chlorella, manuka honey, astaxanthin, the magnesium. I'm taking 10 different mushrooms. So I've got a whole stack of mushrooms that I'm taking.
Yeah.
I've got NAD plus going. I've got my women's multi, but it's one without folic acid.
Mhm.
It's not that easy to find actually, which is weird.
Not easy to find. What is it? The what's the brand? Starts with a P or an N?
I'd have to go grab it.
Oh no, you're good. You
I'm
don't.
taking oil of oregano. I'm taking I got a whole my dresser's just covered in shit now. Um my brain is like blanking. I can go grab my stack, I guess.
You don't have to.
There's a lot of stuff.
I want to know what mushrooms you're taking.
Mushrooms. I've got some
Lion's
of them right
mane, cordyceps,
here.
tail.
Maitake, shiitake, lion's mane, reishi, cordyceps, chaga, turkey tail, white button, black fungi, and royal sun.
Is it
And then I'm
one of those
taking
blends?
shilajit too. Huh?
Oh, dude, the Shilajit. This is why I
That's the
wish
one
it
I'm
was
taking.
still. I bought the glue, not glue, the resin.
Tar.
Yeah, glue. And I've taken it like once and I was like, this is great. And then I just like cannot for the life of me remember to take it daily.
Ah. I now have almost a 50-50 mix between my gummies and my pills. My pills I have to take at night. Like if I don't know what it is for me. Maybe it's a touch of the tism. I don't know. But if I take a bunch of pills, I feel like I can feel them digesting
Hmm.
and it like I don't like it. So if that can happen while I'm asleep, sweet. So my gummies I do in the morning because it's like a reward, and then at night I do all my pills.
Man,
I don't know if I'm taking
I
stuff at the
struggle
right
with
time of
the
day, but
I struggle with gummies because I have found that typically the dosing is much lower. And I mean, I love gummies. Like I would prefer to take something in a gummy than a pill, but I can take a handful of pills like nobody's business.
Yeah, no.
Like I can take like 10 at a time, like more.
I'm
And
taking like
some big
7
ones, like,
total
oh my
now,
God.
and I'm capped at 7. I'm like, I'm not adding any more pills to this, but I'm eating like 15 gummies every morning. But here's what I'll tell you. The gummy regimen is the first one I've ever stayed on for more than a month, and it's been months now I've been doing this.
'Cause you look forward to eating
Um,
them too, probably.
I do. It's a dope.
Yeah, I
It's
should
like a
have
little
got the
hack
sweet
from my
eulogy
brain, man.
gummies because I'm not
And
doing it.
at this point, I'm like, I'd rather get, even if it's less, I'd rather get what I'm getting from gummies than not take the pills at all.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
true.
know me, and that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
So
Pills,
kinda
pills
where
I
I'm-
can do. It's like other things. Like I'm less consistent with powders for sure. Like, which is why now I've just started putting all my powders into like one thing. And initially I got like a glutamine. Oh, creatine is another one we didn't talk about. That could have its
I'm
own
taking
episode.
that though. That's also a
But
good one.
I take like it's glutamine, creatine, collagen, L-carnitine, protein, and AG1 in the
AG1 is
morning.
the
I'm
only
like,
thing
I'm
on there
just
that
gonna,
I don't think I'm taking.
yeah. I mean, I like it. I just, again, the consistency. The consistency is really tough for me because I also
I'm
take.
dry scooping all of my powders now.
Oh no, I'm over that. I can't do that. I used to dry scoop the pre-workout and everything back in my meathead days, and I think it like ate the enamel of my teeth. So
Stomach.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't, the amount of water and everything and like all of that mixed together, I can't do the thick liquids. So I'm just like, I will dry scoop and chug water now. My
yeah.
protein too, my collagen, all of that. Like I cannot, can't do
Oh,
I'm getting
oh,
so far past the gritty shakes. I just realized we're also very far past time right now.
oh.
Hour and a
I
half
don't
on
even
a
know what
call.
time it is because I'm not.
It's 9:43 Vegas time. It is time for us to go get a breakfast or something together.
I'm getting my eyebrows done at 11, and then I'm getting my hair at 1:30 because I still haven't found. Like I have a brow girl in Austin and she's amazing, but I have to drive into actual literal downtown Austin. And so since I'm here, it's just easier for me to go see my OG baby Christy. And then I need a trim and I haven't found anyone I trust in Texas yet with my hair, so go to see Maria.
You're gonna be
But
flying to Vegas 20 years from now to get your hair done. That is so funny.
I need to find someone. I really do. I'm nervous. But I do have I don't know if I have my brows are at 11. It's by IKEA. I will be done by like probably 11:30, and then near like Lake Mead, Sun City area is where I have my hair. So we have a little bit of time.
I'll text you.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I always
All
forget
right.
it's me and you. I always forget we're
I forget that
recording.
we're recording. I know. All right. So everybody out there that's been on for this little like last bit of yappy hour also. Thank you
Whatever.
for
We
having
love you.
on.
At least we showed up. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of value, and
Yeah.
hopefully we are providing you an example that you don't have to show up like perfectly. You just have to show up, and you do not have to be like in a dress, in pulling your handmade sourdough out of the oven with your perfectly kept house. Or
No.
come as you are.
Throw on the sweatshirt, have the conversation. We love you all. Thank you for joining us. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all the things. Hit the little bell for notifications.
And hit
See
us
you
up
next
to
week.
nerd out on supplements.
That. Yes. We know a few things. All right,
And we
y'all.
also know less than we don't know. So we can learn together.
Hey, and if we're saying stuff wrong or we're missing stuff, throw it in the comment section too, because we're always down to learn. This is gonna be a group project.
Yeah. All right. I love you. I love you all. Good day.